Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 9:04 a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Tuesday the 8th. It's a great day today, and we've got some fantastic returning guests. My friends from CASA Kane County are here and returning with us today, and I'm going to pass the mic to them. We got a lot to discuss and talk about when it comes to CASA Kane County. So I'm going to pass the mic and let my friends introduce themselves, and then we're going to detail many different things, including ways that you can get involved. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Curtis. Jim Nachala, I have the privilege of being Executive Director with CASA Kane County. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
Good morning. It's nice to see you again. I'm Sandy Cross. I'm the Director of Training and Education for CASA Kane County.
All right. So as you can see, we have the experts on the show today. CASA Kane County and guardian ad litem. I do want to start there. If you guys, whoever wants to take this, but tell us about CASA Kane County and about being a guardian ad litem and how important that role is, especially here in Kane County.
Great. So I'll start. I'll say CASA Kane County, we advocate for children who have been experienced abuse and neglect and then subsequently removed from their home and placed into foster care. Our role is to be the eyes and ears for the judge to understand that the child is safe, that they're getting the services that they need, understand their needs, and then advocate for their best interests throughout the entire time until they're either safely returned home, adopted, or guardianship.
And now, Sandy, detail your position within the organization as well.
I'd be happy to. So my role is to help with the recruitment process. Okay. In Kane County right now, we desperately need volunteers. We have a number of youth who don't have a volunteer assigned to them, and what that means is that one of our paid staff members, an advocate supervisor, is working for that youth. Ideally, a volunteer should be assigned to the case, and we could use about 50 to 75 more volunteers right now.
Okay.
So that's my plea. My role is to help recruit those individuals, so community members that have a heart for children. The only other requirement is that you be 21 years old. Those individuals then go through an 8-week training course with me, and we call it pre-service. And I will teach them everything they need to know to be a fierce advocate for children in foster care.
It would make me very happy if 50 to 75 of our great listeners took part and became volunteers, or someone that you know who's looking for a way to give back to the community and keep giving back. CASA Kane County is a fantastic way to do that. Now, I do know that you guys just had 2 major events that were happening. Let's talk about those and then talk about the future. So you guys had the Clays for Kids.
Yep. Actually, right before that, we did WOW Cruising for CASA, which was a bike ride.
Okay.
And that happened in early September. And we had over 150 people bike ride across Kane County for CASA.
Oh, wow.
Raised over $100,000 thanks to some great community partners. And we are looking to do that next year, the Sunday after Labor Day.
Okay.
Bigger and better. So we're
right.
excited about that work. It's really a great way to get a lot of people involved and raise awareness about CASA and who we are. Then we had our Clay event over at Max McGraw. That was also a great number of people that came out for clay shooting and camaraderie. We have a huge brunch and then a cocktail reception, some great raffle items. In fact, one of the raffle items was a bourbon tour for 3 nights, 4 days in the Kentucky area, and I wish I remembered the name because we just pulled the winner yesterday. And
yeah,
I
me
could have
too.
Announced
me
it.
too.
It wasn't you, Curtis. I would have remembered the name. And that led into our bourbon social that was Saturday night over at off of 64 in Randall, behind the lot of Liquor and Wine. Okay. We had under one roof like 60 various bourbons that people taste, and we had an amazing spread of food by BG Hospitality, which is Giamia, Ella's, Livia's, Moto e Moto, and Fire and Wine.
Some
and
of those are
restaurants, which are all part of BG Hospitality, actually did all the catering and the food. It was amazing.
I hear good things about Ella's.
Yeah,
I hear good things about Ella's.
Ella's is excellent.
Yeah,
well.
I'm on the Instagram scrolling, looking at the. Let's not go there.
Yeah.
It's early for the food. 9:09 is the time. Tracy Duran, good morning. Denise Dale, good morning. Brent Jimenez, good morning. Daniel Calderon, good morning to you too. What is the what's the story in Kane County about, or what are we trying to achieve in Kane County? What do the numbers look like for those kids in those court-appointed foster homes and the situation? What's the numbers that we're dealing with?
Thanks for asking that. I would say it's been growing over the last few years.
Okay.
So at the end of 19, we had about 336 children that were served in foster care throughout Kane County. And at the end of 2023, we're at 668.
Wow.
We are approaching that number. We're over 600 through 2024. So we're probably going to be close to where we were last year. The number of cases closed up until most recently are less than the number of new cases coming in.
Okay.
At the month of August, we actually were 10 positive, meaning we had 10 more cases closed than came in.
Okay.
Having said that, we have just as many children because you have multiple children per case.
Right.
And so the numbers have been growing, and the number of volunteers that we need, while they've grown from 2019 to 2024, they're not keeping pace with the number of children in care.
And what's the reason for the spike? I mean, is this an effect of the COVID period where we saw a lot of different things exacerbate household issues,
Sure.
drugs and alcohol, what have you?
Yeah, so there's a few things. One,
Okay.
clearly COVID. In 2020, 2021, 2020 especially, we weren't in court for part of the time, so cases were not closing and new cases were coming in.
Oh.
So that created a backlog to start with. Then there was some, obviously, the increase of domestic violence. Children weren't going to school, so they weren't seen, and then once they got back to school, then that became a challenge.
Right.
There were some couple of high-profile cases up in Lake County, and like everything, a child had died that they thought should have been removed by DCFS. Of course, then when these kinds of things happen, I think we become even more conservative of saying we don't want to leave anyone behind, even though in a lot of ways the best interest of the child is try to keep them at home,
Right.
but only if it's safe to do so.
Right.
And so that's a balancing act that is being looked at all the time.
A safe home is the goal.
Yes.
In lieu of that, not having that, that's where court services and being court appointed, that's where that comes into play.
Correct.
Right.
And then they end up in foster care till either they could return safely home or, they get adopted.
Right. 9:12 is the time. I have a question, Sandy. What's the ideal volunteer? What's the ideal volunteer have to have what it takes?
Sure. The biggest thing is a heart for children, wanting to help their community. There are no education requirements or employment requirements. We will give the volunteer all of the education that they need during our training program. The most important area of responsibility is visiting with the child on their case every 30 days.
Okay.
So getting into that foster home, seeing how the child is doing, making sure all of their needs are met, making sure they're safe, talking to their teachers, their foster parents. People who have 5 hours a month, generally speaking, is about what it takes to work on a case. Now, there could be fewer hours if it's a very kind of an uncomplex case. If I just made up a word, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be a few more hours if there are some complexities involved. But
Got it.
That's really what it takes. We provide all of the training and all of the support. Volunteers are partnered with a paid staff member called an advocate supervisor. So they always have somebody who can walk next to them on that case and help them. And we've also started to see a lot of people come to our training program with a friend. So two friends come through training, they get sworn in, they take a case together. Husband and wife come to our training, they take the training, they get sworn in, and they work on a case together. So now they've got a built-in support system throughout the course of their advocacy.
I would think that'd be very, very fulfilling for that couple who was perhaps retired.
Sure.
And still interested in that aspect of giving back. We got philanthropy in Kane County. We've got those organizations who are doing that work, but we've also got those networks of those people who just care, who've either been out of the school system or even a correctional system, and have those skills and talents and understanding to bring to the table. 9:14 is the time. I'm curious, where does Kane County stand in relation to the rest of Illinois when it comes to our youth who are in the system? I mean, are we, we're a large county. Where do we stand in the state of Illinois? Do you guys know that?
We do know.
Yeah.
We're one of the largest number of children in care. Obviously, Cook County would be larger, but there is a difference in that Cook County is not a GAL program, and they don't. They're not required to manage every case that comes in, and so we are 100% of all children in Kane County have a CASA or an advocate for them. Every county does not have that same requirement.
Right.
So we're serving all children that come into care through the 16th district, which is King County.
Okay.
And we are one of the largest guardian ad litem programs, which I'm going to let Sandy share what that is. But ultimately, our volunteers, there's only 4 in the state, are sworn into the court as an officer of the court while they are being that volunteer. Keep in mind, that may sound scary for some people. We have attorneys on staff as well that also partner with our volunteers. So they're well supported between their advocate supervisor, Sandy, and the training arm, and our legal staff.
Right.
Yeah. Guardian ad litem is a term I think a lot of people are familiar with. Usually in family law, a guardian ad litem is assigned to look out for the best interests of children. In our county, we are the guardian ad litem for children who are in foster care due to abuse or neglect.
Okay.
So the statute in the state says that every child who comes into abuse and neglect court must be assigned a guardian ad litem. Generally, that's an attorney. In Kane County, that's our volunteers. So the training that they receive and the swearing in that they receive by the judge gives them that guardian ad litem status, so they become a party to the case.
That's powerful.
It is.
That's powerful,
it is.
and it's very empowering too. So I would think that it'd be a very reassuring for those young people or those individuals out there to know that it's a requirement in our county.
Yeah.
While it's not in other counties. So 9:17 is the time. What does the next 5 years look like?
So one of the things that we've been working on, part of this work of coming here and being in other areas where we're increasing our media and awareness of CASA Kane County, is really around, yes, we advocate for the best interests of children while they're in care. And that's what CASA does, and looking out for their safety, looking out for ensuring they're getting their services, and helping them get some education, depending on what age, getting the educational skills that they need.
Right.
We believe that in order to change some of the trajectory we're on, that we're looking to partner with the community, and we're kicking off an advisory council literally later this month with organizations like Wabansie and Aurora University and Rush Copley and Sherman Hospital and the Kane County Health Department and so forth, to actually step back and say, how is it that we can ensure that the children in care have the seamless access to the services, the tools, the experiences needed to ultimately be on the journey of a life of independence and ultimately reduce the cycle of abuse. And that may be a bit beyond our mandate, but I think as a community, we have a responsibility to do just that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, every socio-economic challenge that you could point to, we could point to a case that our children have been part of that environment in one way, shape, or form, right? So no Pollyanna that this is going to be easy to solve or easily done. But if we don't come together as a community and try to advocate and do something, we'll never get any further. So we're gonna sink our teeth in at our kickoff. We're just gonna really align on where we could begin the journey, and I'm excited by the partnerships that are developing throughout the community. You and I were part of a community outreach effort recently at Wabansie, just looking at how they could better partner with the community and make a difference. They're a community college. How do we serve the community? That's what we're all trying to do. And I think coming together as a group of community leaders, as a group of individuals who care, we can make a difference. And I think awareness is key to driving change, and that's the journey, and it's going to take that time.
Right. I remember, so when we first interviewed, you were the first person that I really understood what the term guardian ad litem was, and I have been seeing it everywhere since. It's just kind of one of those things where, like, if you're looking for that, you're looking for that yellow car, you'll start seeing them all over the place.
Yeah.
I started becoming more familiar with that and seeing that acronym GAL everywhere. And we're in the era now, and I think this is what's good to talk about what you just mentioned. Wraparound services and those continuing services are more of a thing now. Like, organizations are trying to really do that and approach that. Working in housing, I met a lot of people who, there's an eligibility standard. Now, if they don't make that, then what? I've never been able to give them a then what. It feels good now to work with people and organizations who are able to provide that, okay, what now? Like, hey, listen, CASA Kane, something like that. That feels good to pass people on and continue to make sure that they continue to benefit and get a positive outcome. So that's good to hear. That's good to hear, and I'm happy to be involved with these conversations. And also that event at Wabanzi was very, very fruitful. So I look forward to seeing more great things and collaborations coming.
We have another big thing coming up, which is November 6th. We call it our Superheroes Luncheon. Okay. And what we do is generally we ask our CASA GAL volunteers to bring friends and neighbors and others who are interested in learning more about CASA, learning more how they could be involved, and they hear from a real inspirational speaker. Okay. This year we have someone that has been in foster care, has turned their life around, and was able to live a life of independence and stop the cycle of abuse in their own family. And so we're really excited to have that available. When you talk about community partnerships, Wabanzi is hosting us, and so we'll have about 400 people is generally the audience out there in the Sugar Grove campus. And I think the tickets are like $25, so it's not an expensive event to go to. It's really around getting informed and educated about CASA, child welfare, and what you can do. So and you leave there very pumped. Okay. So I'd encourage your audience to look at us at casakinecounty.org and check that out, Superheroes event. Okay. There's also, just so there's awareness, the CASA GAL is not for everyone, and we understand that. I mean, it is individuals. It could be flashbacks or PTSD given their own life experiences. It could just be something that isn't their gift that they've received. We all have different gifts, right? But there's always a way to help. We have a program called CASA Crew, and those are individuals that are willing to support in some way, shape, or form, but not as a CASA GAL. Okay. They get a monthly newsletter that shares an inspirational story, as well as talks about what are the different volunteer opportunities coming up. Could you help us, at a raffle at the Clay's event, or would you mind working the gala at our auction table, or something like that? Right. Or putting out flyers. We had 18 volunteers put flyers all over Kane County to promote the upcoming events and our educational programs as we need more and more volunteers. Okay. So those volunteer roles are just as important, and not nearly as the type of commitment as others. So that's another thing that they can do.
That's awesome. So one of our listeners, Brent, says, I encourage anyone that has thought about volunteering for social services and programs like this to jump in and try it. Working/volunteering for social services has literally changed my life for the better. Maria Torito, good morning. Helen J. Edmonds, Yarbo, good morning. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's so right. I mean, I started Neighbor Project as a volunteer so many years ago. Yeah.
Well, you hear that over and over again, right? Where people say, I get much more out of it than what I put into it.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's that feeding of the soul and knowing that you can make a difference. Now, we also share that every time you may not win. Right. We don't win as individuals on things in our own life journey, but we do in many cases, impact those lives. And even if you didn't impact it today, you didn't get the outcome that you were hoping for. You made a difference by being in that child's life.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday was a big day. We had an adoption on a very difficult case that has been there for several years. 2 young boys. And it's because of the CASA GAL, who was so strong and steadfast in the journey, who supported that partnership and ultimately worked with their supervisor and our attorneys and the team to now know that the boys are going to a safe and permanent home. And those are the days we celebrate.
Absolutely.
Right? That's where, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And so I it's very rewarding.
It is. It reminds me of a wise statement. If it were easy, everybody would do it.
True.
The hard things in life have that kind of reward.
Yes.
That's an amazing story. So congratulations.
Yeah,
You guys are doing amazing work.
It's
Thank
team
you.
effort.
Yep.
I mean, it takes all of us, and it sounds hokey, but it's
true.
It takes a community, and you know that about what you do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We know that about what we do. We have volunteers from all over Kane County and beyond. Our incredible staff that's dedicated, our board, our donors. I mean, it's everybody. Our community partners.
Oh yeah, I'm
takes
telling
it
you.
all.
Some of our biggest wins, at least some of my biggest wins, take place in the lobbies of hotels, in garages. People get that acceptance letter. That's it, man. Now I can get out of here. All right. So 9:26 is the time. Jen Mendoza, good morning to you as well. Feeding the soul, love that. That's awesome. Okay, what did we miss? Did we miss anything? Did we forget anything?
No, just maybe because the volunteer piece is so key right now. So how do they get involved and learn more? And
Yeah, absolutely.
What's going on?
Yeah, our website is the best place to start. So CasaKaneCounty.org. There's a volunteer tab right at the top. Click on that, and if somebody wants to engage with the materials, they can do it online on their own timing, or they can come to a live meeting that I hold virtually, and the days and times of those are listed there as well.
Okay.
Folks that are interested go through the materials, or they come to a meeting. We start the process. We have a little conversation. They join our training program, and our next one will be starting at the end of January. So for 8 weeks, we meet for 3 hours a week, either virtual or in person. They can pick and choose and go back and forth if they want. 2 months after they start, they will be sworn in as a GAL in our organization and could be assigned to a case right away.
All right, you heard that.
Yep.
You heard that. 50 to 75 people is the goal. We can definitely use more. So I encourage any of our listeners, if you got a heart and you want to continue to serve, join CASA Kane County as a GAL, a guardian ad litem. And also follow CASA Kane County here on Facebook and on Instagram as well. You guys got a YouTube channel?
not yet.
Okay. Well, when they get one, make sure that you follow for more of
There
the
is one?
very cool stuff.
There is one, but it's live. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll make sure. We're just making sure.
We have one. I've been told.
All right. Daniel Calderon, have a good day. Luz Elna, Brambila Guerrero, and Christina Morga, Tracy Hodges. Good morning to all of you guys. Jimmy Clark, DJ Spanky D, Matthew Rainey, and the family of Rent a Chef. All right. This was a good one.
This was great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Really
so
appreciate the
much. Oh, yeah.
opportunity, as
Absolutely.
always. Thank
So
you.
looking forward to more great news from CASA Kane County. I hope that you guys have a blessed, positive, awesome, and fantastic rest of the day. Good Morning Aurora will return tomorrow with another great interview for you guys. Take care of yourself and each other.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.